Hi, I'm Sock Marionette doing business as Bargain Counter Argument, and it's time for another Flip Through Friday. Now, in the last couple of weeks, I've looked at The Secrets of Pistolet by text and illustrations by Jana Kolpen, and designed by Mary Tiegreen, and its sequel, The Villa della Luna, the same artists and writers. And now I'm ready to look at the third book, A Circle of Kindness, An Irish Journey of the Heart. I said I was going to skip a couple of weeks and do something else before I came back to this book because I didn't realize that it was actually part of a trilogy. The way they were described on Goodreads and so on, it sounded like these two went together and then this was just like an extra book, but they actually are a trilogy all about Mamselle J, an American who goes to Pistolet in southwestern France, suffering from exhaustion and heartache. And there she stays at Pistolet, which is a sort of inn, and she gets to enjoy a lot of good food and companionship and kind of everyday magic and a little bit more than that. It's magical realism. And so this is the enchanted fable of food, magic, and love. Then she left France and went to Italy, to the Villa della Luna. And then next book is Ireland. And the first book was, like I said, it was very much about recovery and restoration following heartbreak and exhaustion. And then her journey continued in Italy, where she was feeling a little more restored. And she continued her journey by helping resolve the legend of the Villa della Luna. And now in this book, she's going to Ireland. And we're going to talk about the Circle of Kindness. And these are just these lessons that are very simple. They're not groundbreaking. They're not avant-garde, but a simple kind of kindness and love and restoration that it's just nice to be reminded of. And Jana Kolpen and Mary Tiegreen do such a lovely job of it. And here we are kind of going back a little bit visually to Pistolet, which had this slipcover and this window through which you could see the illustration on the book itself, like that. And then here we have it with this kind of Irish, these beautiful flowers, and just springtime in Ireland, and this inviting red door. I guess if you were a Rolling Stone, you'd want to paint it black, but I don't. And let's flip it over and look at the back. Even the smallest kindness can change the world. And so you can see that we have more lovely illustrations, and then we can slide this out. Well, I thought we could slide this out. There we go. The Circle of Kindness. This is just such an inviting house by a lake. And there's just the same image on the back, but reversed. And no act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. A quotation from Aesop. This is published by the same company as the other two. Let's see if we can find, oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Stuart Tabori and Chang of New York. And this one was quite a few years later. I believe this was in 2006, and the others were in the 1990s. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, 2006. So this is about 9 years after Villa della Luna in terms of publication. I'm not sure how much time is supposed to have elapsed for Mamselle J. But here you have a letter from Madame Claude back at Le Pistolet. And it is to her friend Shannon, and she's introducing her special friend, Mamselle J. It says she came to Pistolet a number of years ago with a wilted heart. And she believes you two are kindred souls, sharing a similar passion for life, food, and people. And will that turn out to be the case? Yes, it will. I don't feel bad about giving you a spoiler for that because this is definitely more about the journey than the destination. So we have this introduction to this village, and how Mamselle J has arrived. She's greeted by a committee of fat hens and a sweet-faced cow with the kindest eyes in all the world. We have this teapot cottage. And, of course, a cozy kitchen. Some soda bread. I believe we have a recipe for that coming up. This bridge over a stream and some nice little sheep. And a lovely cheese plate or cheese selection. It has been scientifically proven that Irish blue cows produce the most sumptuous of cheeses. And there's the blue cow. Don't accept those fake blue cows, the ones that they just kind of spray them down with like blueberry coloring. Yeah, only ask for the genuine blue cow. And here is heartwarming recipes from the Pink Cottage. Brown bread and Irish soda bread. And once more, they're poetic, and you find a mill that has stone ground the golden wheat of a local farmer living on top of a hill way over yonder, and so on. And there's the soda bread recipe. May you always have warm bread on a cold morning. That's such a lovely wish. And then she starts exploring the town. And there's this card. The smallest kindness can mean a lot to one who has been humbled by the challenges of life. And then that's the clasp on this trunk, which unfortunately although this is three-dimensional. Oh, wait. I had trouble opening it before. I didn't realize one could. And it's a whole bunch of those bracelets or whatever they are. In your actions be kind and your heart be true, and your deepest wish will come to you. Oh, nice. I didn't realize you could open that. I thought it was just three-dimensional just for the sake of it. Oh, there's the blue cow again. Right up there. And the cow with the kindest of eyes. And then another, and this is a neighbor who lives alone now in a very large house, but in her youth, the legendary lady attended many lavish parties in London, Paris, and Dublin. She was known for her beauty and sweet demeanor. And now she's kind of retired, and she has the space to have large dinner parties, but she doesn't anymore. And here's another recipe card. Time-passing scones. We have a raspberry ambrosia jam and some cookie recipe. Noting that there is always time for friendship. Would that were true. Sometimes I sometimes have too much to do, and I don't pay as much attention to my friends and my friendships as I could. I try not to feel bad about it because I think everybody's in the same boat and everybody understands, but it's sad. Okay, and then we have more food. I think this is where she goes to the legendary lady's house, and this is like the kinds of parties that they used to be able to host, and not anymore. And an album, Treasured Memories, lovely scrapbook. Legendary Lady is an ace scrapbooker. That's really inviting. I want to just sit there and go through her entire album. And she has a conservatory. I would love to have a conservatory. They're so neat. Of course, I'd have to look after it, and I don't know about that. And then she has a hat collection, and she gives one of the hats to Mamselle J. And there she has, oh my goodness, there you can see. The village is called Shanagary. And here it is there's a local carpenter and woodworker who's in danger of going out of business. So the legendary lady asks him to make her a giant dining table. And so it's kind of about town revitalization as well, because there's a whole lot of stuff like that where you have local artisans and craftspeople whose wares are not selling as well as they used to, and Mamselle J and the legendary lady and others kind of work together to revitalize that and those cottage industries. The simple gift of time spent together is a kindness so deep it cannot be measured. A lot of times I feel like I have to entertain my friends in some way, and it's like, no, they just want to sit with me, and that's nice. The Whispering Forest. Ooh, that looks inviting. Looks kind of like a little creek not too far from my house. And a little pillow that says kindness. Oh, and one of those allées where you have the lane that has the trees arching over it. You see them in France and Ireland and places. And there's the woodworker, makers of fine Irish furniture, Fitzpatrick and Son. And there's another one of these aphorisms. Offering opportunity to one who has fallen on hard times is a kindness that is shared by two. And then end up meeting at the inn. And this has a little menu, and it kind of answers a question. I had assumed that these stories were taking place like in the 50s or something, but actually this little menu has the prices in euros. If you want to take a quick look and see what you want to order. I want the tipsy mushrooms on toast. Anyway, the prices are in euros, and also that means that it's the Republic of Ireland rather than Northern Ireland. In case we were wondering. I kind of was until I found that card. I was like, oh yeah. And here's the recipe for tipsy mushrooms on toast. Nice that they had the recipe for the one thing I wanted to try. Not all who wander are lost. Isn't that the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings? And that's how to make the pie of the wandering shepherd. It's not really shepherd's pie though, because it's beef. And my understanding is that if it's beef, it's cottage pie. And if it's shepherd's pie, it has to be lamb, whatever. And there's a lovely picnic basket. And flowers and berries and just all kinds of good things. And how to make a salad of summer flowers. Sharing the joy of living with those in need of wonder is kindness to be treasured. Yeah, agreed. And so many shoes and teacups. And there are a couple of sisters who are weavers, and they need to kind of rediscover how to make that happen again. Gardens. Good boy. He's a good boy. And a good boy. Yep, there we go. Yes, the dog figures pretty heavily into the story. He's not incidental. He's just part of somebody kind of finding purpose in old age in the form of dog. And a pretty boss sleeping cap. I don't want a sleeping cap. And, oh, he's getting into the picnic basket. You're still a good boy. Helping someone get beyond a thing that blocks the joy in life is a kindness of true affection. And there we have a festive Spanish orchestra entertaining at the In-Between on Friday afternoons. And there's even like a little lover's snug, a little section of the inn where two people might hang out. Here at this table, may you both be well matched. Is Mademoiselle J one of the people occupying one of these chairs? Maybe. Is Mr. Fitzpatrick the other? Could be. We have some legendary lady sparkling wine and some snacks on a tiered tray. And ooh, beautiful. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me. If you did, please like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I am not the boss of you. And I will see you again for another Flip Through Friday.